live.
Tell you what, I'm not going to hear. I'm not going to hear that baby in the background the whole time. I can tell you that right now.
I just turned the monitor sound off. I can see it with my eyeballs. So if something goes wrong, you won't hear about
I'm
it.
not going to be hearing that baby. Is all I can tell you. You don't hear any kids in my house ever. So
You know what I was thinking about the other day was in 2020, whenever obviously all your kids were running around, and didn't I ruin? Are they in the room right now?
they're not. Yeah, you ruined Santa Claus for them.
Yes, I ruined Santa Claus for one of them, and I do still deeply, profusely apologize for that.
No, you stole precious memories from this family and pretty much ruined the lives of several kids here. That's okay. That's that. You do you. You do you. You're doing great, sweetie. Hello, it's Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's College Football Podcast, brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer. Please tell them how good it is, Casey.
It is delicious. I was told this week in the office that the El Prez pack is on its way out. It's limited edition. So if you do love that pack, go get it. I still have not tried the Snowbird pack. Katie, Jack, I know we're all going to be in the New York office tomorrow. Maybe we can find one. I know Rough and Rowdy is on Thursday in Providence. Maybe they'll have them there. I don't know, but the Snowbird pack has 2 new flavors, and you can find it anywhere. Drizzly, liquor stores, convenience stores, highnoonspirits.com. Don't forget the originals and, of course, the tequila. Jack, Katie, have you tried the new flavors yet?
I haven't. You have them in the fridge for you tomorrow because I want to do a taste testing video. So tomorrow, they're all nice.
Done. I'm in. High Noon Sun Sips, High Noon Spirits, real vodka, real juice for real fans like me and you and Jack and Katie, Brandon.
So it is college football, and we got plenty. We're going to do stock watch. We're all going to buy stock for teams in 2024. We're going to talk about the fact that Ohio State's getting all the good players and probably going to win the next 5 national titles. I guess we can start here. There isn't not a whole lot of news in the world of college football right now, but let's start here because it does appear that Jim Harbaugh is now taking a second interview with the Chargers, and now he's talking about maybe taking his defensive coordinator with him from Michigan to the Chargers. I'm going to try to say this without insulting Michigan because they ultimately got the last laugh of winning the national title. But this is the first time, if this in fact happens, if they lose J.J. McCarthy and they lose, 10 starters off the defense and they lose all these players, they lose so many people and so many coaches. This will be the first time in a while where we don't really have what looks like a national championship program. There'll be a national championship team, which is the point of this whole thing. You got to win a national title, but they're going to really take a step back next year if in fact Jim Harbaugh leaves. Correct?
Yeah, and that's also not talking badly about Michigan. That's not like, I know that you have to like lead into that because of like
that's realism.
That's real. That's realistic expectations because usually even when you see turnover from a team standpoint, like if you lose your starting quarterback, if you lose your starting running back, if you lose, 4, 5, 6, 10 defensive players, that's a realistic statement. Then you look at what's happening with the coaching staff. I think if you're a Michigan fan and you don't agree with what was just said, you're delusional because looking at what this team could potentially look like, a completely new program with new leadership and a new quarterback and having to find a new running back, that doesn't mean they're not going to be talented. That doesn't mean that it can't immediately look successful, but it's not going to be the same team. I mean, that's an obvious statement.
So, Jack, Ohio State's doing exactly what people thought teams would do the whole time. They're going and buying a bunch of good players, which, that's where we live right now. They went out. Now, there's some aspects of this team building I don't 100% understand. They seem to be going with the strategy that if a good player is available, he needs to play for Ohio State. Obviously, they improved their defense with Caleb Downs, who's the number 1 player in the transfer portal. Caleb Downs goes from Alabama to Ohio State. A lot of people thought he was going to Georgia. He does not. He goes to Ohio State. But then they add the number 1 quarterback ranked in the recruiting rankings, Julian Cyan. And by the way, they already had Aaron Noland. Like they're kind of just bringing in everybody. But Ohio State is doing what a top-level team we always assume would do in the transfer portal, which is just outspend everybody.
Yeah, they really have been going after it over the past, ever since the season really ended. Quinshon Judkins, he committed literally right after the national championship. And then you had Will Howard. You add in Julian Sain, Caleb Downs. They brought in Seth McLaughlin, who obviously was the center from Alabama that had some bad snaps, but he's still a pretty good player. If he plays guard and he doesn't have to snap, I think his blocking was never an issue. And they also brought in a tight end from Ohio. I mean, they put together a hell of a class on the transfer portal. And then they're also kind of building Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs has another year or two, I believe, or am I making that up?
No, he should have 2 years. He was a freshman.
Yeah,
this year.
2 years because he was a freshman this year. And then Julian Sayin is another guy. I don't know how that affects Aaron Noland. You can never have too many quarterbacks, but the transfer portal area has made it so important. I forgot who tweeted this. It was either Josh Pate or Bud Elliott or whatnot. It's so important to finish second now in recruiting because if you don't get the kid from high school, and then we saw the right tackle from Alabama,
Caden Proctor.
Yeah, he went to the Iowa basketball game and then was saying something along the lines of, Iowa's always kept in touch with me. They were really nice, even throughout the season when I had a tough start. They were always there for me. It's very interesting. It's almost
what does that mean? I mean, I know what you're saying, but like when I had a tough start to the season, Iowa was there for me. Was Kirk and Brian Ferentz like FaceTiming on Sunday morning because they obviously weren't doing any offensive game planning? Were they calling him like, "Hey, we saw your game on TV last night. You're doing great, buddy"? Is that what they were doing?
It's a very good question. I think a lot of Alabama fans were like, "Wait, isn't that kind of?"
Oh, fuck them! Fuck them forever! Fuck them forever! If you don't think Alabama, when Saban was really going, or last few years, was every time a player that they finished runner-up for was checking in on him or making sure, hey, next year you can come. We got a hole in the defensive backfield. You can come. Fuck you, Alabama. Just shut the fuck up forever.
Well, it's fairly funny today. They're Alabama, the fans, they really don't even know how to act anymore because it's not even, they're not good anymore. It's they can't even chirp the right way. Today, Travi was saying to me, man, Tennessee must have paid another $8 million for that quarterback that committed yesterday. I think his class of 2025. I was like, you can't say that anymore, bro. Like, you have to do that now. Like,
Alabama fans have no idea what to do with their hands.
Yeah, you have to pay that money now. You should be careful because, it's like we've seen programs even through the history of this podcast. Like, few years go by, you're kind of fucked. Like you have to, and we're in a new era. Like you could be Tennessee before you know it. Like you're talking about the glory days.
But the glory days were so good. It's like, I do feel like, Alabama fans are going to have to come back down to earth. But if you had a dynasty like them, if it was me, I'd just be like, remember when we won 6 national titles?
No, they will do that. They'll be like, whatever the number is now, they'll be like 18 national titles, 19 national titles. They'll do that, but also they're not going to be able to emotionally handle not being the prettiest girl with the ball. And because now Georgia's got them big old titties, right? Now Ohio State is just wearing the prettiest skirt. Like Alabama's not going to be the prettiest girl with the ball anymore. She's going to be like the girl and She's All That before she took her glasses off.
I bet Katie and Jack haven't seen that movie.
I know what he's saying though, because
no chance they've seen that movie.
It's like there's like the USC graduates just came to New York City. Like you're 28, 30, 35 now. I don't know what to tell you.
By the way, Rachel Lee Cook in that movie, She's All That. She's hot before she's hot as a nerd.
I'm going to be honest, Brandon. I think I've seen that movie one time, but I do know the references at least. I know. I'm sorry. They've never seen it. I think I've seen it once, but it's okay. We understand the premise of what you're saying.
I got to show Jack Rachel Lee Cook as a nerd.
Jack, do you remember? I don't know who went viral, but there's a tweet that was like, I can't wait for Alabama fans to have to show up to tailgate for a middle.
Oh, this girl was so hot as a nerd.
Oh, yeah.
So hot as a nerd.
That's
my
insane.
God. She was hot after she was a nerd, but she was hot as a nerd.
She literally there's some guys that would be more into this than
she was in the baby.
It's literally like, this is like the start of a porno,
What?
Who was the guy? Was that Freddie Prinze Jr.?
I don't know. I'm like so bad.
Oh fuck.
That's her now.
That's her now?
Yes.
Good for her.
I'm gonna go out and say she might be hotter now.
No.
Well,
I mean,
she's pretty hot. I don't know how
She's
old
hot
she was.
now, but sorry, she's not. She was much. She was a
looks
little
like
hotter.
she looks like she smells great.
I bet she does smell really nice.
She's hot now. Don't get me wrong. It's,
Dude, we had the Bachelor today for on the Yak, the Zach, the Bachelor Zach.
I don't know.
He smelled so good. I smelled him.
Like, did you like go up to him and smell him, or you
I
just?
said, "Can I smell?" I said, "Can I smell you?" I stuck my nose right up in his armpits.
Oh my god!
You know, he played football.
Wait, there's a bachelor right now that played football.
No, it's an old Bachelor. He's a Bachelor from a couple of years ago. Bachelor.
I love
All right.
where they have like former NFL players, and then you find out they just like went to a camp. That's
Well, yeah, no, I think he played at some college, and he was an offensive lineman. Gets so hot, they're ridiculous.
Oh well,
You realize how hot Jason Kelsey's going to be 6 months from now?
I can't even talk about it. I honestly cannot even fathom how hot that man is going to be. He's already hot. He's already like.
He's not hot now. Come
Oh
on.
please, Katie, back me up.
I can't.
No, she can't because he was in the stands celebrating the Chiefs beating the Bills the other day.
My boyfriend's a D lineman, so I'm not on the offensive line, nose tackle. Excuse me. So I'm on the case in point.
You got a boyfriend?
He's all right.
Oh, when did that happen? Okay. I thought you and Casey were dating. Okay.
We'll start that rumor if you'd like.
It was approved.
Okay. All right. Well, the guy just now he gets to talk. Okay. I didn't realize we were letting our boyfriends talk. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Unbelievable out here.
Off season, baby. That's what happens around here.
It's just everybody starts to talk. Your baby's talking. She's got a boyfriend all of a sudden. Hello, friend. What am I, Jim Nantz now? Okay. We're going to go with, I'm going to tell you about an ad. I'm going to tell you about these wonderful people, and then we're diving into Stock Watch.
Yes.
We're going to draft 3 teams to buy stock in for 2024. Is everybody going to be ready?
I am ready.
Super. All right. Before we do that, you got to get started with Factor. Factor, such a great healthy decision to eat Factor. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. They're ready to eat meal. Delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery store, skip the prep work, skip the cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly annual.
Sorry. Bless me.
Bless you. 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Casey, you've already been a fan of Factor.
I love Factor. They also have these protein shakes that I feel like we don't talk about enough because they're not obviously the main staple, but if you watched Surviving Barstool, you saw them in the fridge. I get them now. They had a pumpkin spice one in the fall that was delicious, but chocolate vanilla, they're absolutely incredible. We know I love the meals. I had a jalapeno lime chicken for dinner. So that was great, but it's the easiest thing in the world right now, especially if you're working really late or, I know football season's coming to an end, but you just want something healthy that you know is going to be good for you and taste good. And it only takes 2 minutes, never frozen, ever, ever, ever. The protein shakes, the juice, everything's great. We love Factor.
Indeed. Head to factormeals.com/roughness50 and use code roughness50 to get 50% off. That's code roughness50 at factormeals.com/roughness50 to get 50% off. Okay, here we go.
How are we doing this?
Chat. First name you say gets the number 1 pick. Go.
Well, it's going to be Katie.
Just relax. You don't know that. And here we go. We have a name. B Bean says Casey is rich? ? That's Casey. That's a name. And then Jack's next. Casey goes first, then Jack, then me, then Katie. That's the names I see in order.
So I have a question.
Yes.
This is my semantics. My semantics are, we can just all teams are available. We're talking do they have to be dark horse?
2024, if they play college football and you think they're going to be good, who are you buying stock in going into 2024? That's what we're doing.
Number 1 off the board is the Ohio State Buckeyes. We know that Ohio State is absolutely loading up at every position. They are primed. If they don't win a national title with this talent and with everything that they're putting together, Ohio State fans should be down bad. I feel like it's the most obvious number 1 pick ever. We're seeing the new era happening in front of our eyes with Ohio State. And I understand you don't raise banners for the offseason. You don't raise banners for the transfer portal and recruiting and all that. But if you put together a proven, talented team like they have going into what looks like a brand new era for Michigan, and we know James Franklin can't beat them, and we know that I know the Big Ten's changing and there are new teams coming in. Ohio State's talent alone puts them at number one.
Sorry, my nose itches. All right. So I think the first round will be pretty.
Oh my God, you good?
I think the first round will be pretty chalk as we just picked the national title contenders. But Jack, you go second.
I'm taking Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're more like a better national title contender actually than Ohio State, just due to the quarterback position. Completely fine with Ohio State going first. Before we continue, I think this is a conversation worth having. How good does the team have to be for them to win a national title, considering their quarterback situation? I mean,
Meaning Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio State. I don't know. Do they have a quarterback? That's still the question.
So I guess I'll answer it like this. With the rest of the Big Ten, I think Ohio State could be the exact same team they are this year with a slightly better quarterback and win the Big Ten going away. Michigan has taken a big step back. That's what I think. Washington's taking a huge step back. They're going to be in the Big Ten. I don't know if USC's ready. That leaves who's standing in the way in the Big Ten of them cruising to the 12-team playoff?
Penn State, if you're buying into Penn State, which I don't.
That's fine. Yeah, if you're buying into Penn State. But I think the road for Ohio State is much easier next year than it was this year. And they had a top 5 defense this year, and they're bringing back most of those guys and adding to it. I think they'll be better defensively. I think they could be I'll say it like this. I think if Kyle McCord was back next year, same quarterback, they could win the national title. That's how good they'll be everywhere else.
I mean, that's a bold statement. And again, nothing against Kyle McCord. I mean, obviously, like I think if they had even a little bit of a better quarterback last year, things would have been different. But winning the national title, I mean, you're right. The talent is going to be ridiculous, but I don't know.
Theoretically, though, they were pretty close this year.
Yeah, they were at the 35-yard line with the ball down 6 against the national champs. So, like, that's not far away.
Yeah, no, that's why I think, I know that it's really easy to get hyped up in the offseason about what teams are doing. And I feel like when it was just high school recruiting and then you maybe have like a grad transfer here and there, like that's when it was like, all right, you can't win the offseason, dude. Like, calm down. Let's see it play on the field. This is a different era now. This is a different situation when you're getting proven talent around the country to come play all together in one team. And I understand that not always, it doesn't always work. We've seen it in other sports where it's like ring chasing doesn't necessarily work. However, in college football, I think that what they're doing is they're building a championship team to win now, and they don't need to have a Heisman winning quarterback in order to win. They just have to be able to put all that talent on the field and it actually translate together.
And I'm just going to say it. I think we just saw a team win with an average quarterback. Jack, you said Georgia?
Yeah, I said Georgia, and I was thinking before I brought up the concern about Ohio State, I was like, when's the last bad quarterback to win a national title? And bad is relative.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I was thinking bad relative, but then I was going back through my mind, and then I was like, oh, there was J.J. McCarthy. Now, I was thinking, if J.J. McCarthy, let's say you flipped Kyle McCord and J.J. McCarthy this year.
Oh, Jesus. Now we're really.
I know. It's like we don't even have to do it. I'm just thinking I think the better question instead of flipping Kyle McCord and J.J. McCarthy is, would Will Howard have won the national title this year with Michigan? I think it's possible.
I think a bunch of quarterbacks would have won the national title with Michigan this year. A bunch. I think 30 guys would have won the national title.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I will. Look at what they asked him to do. They asked him to throw for 150 yards a game. Like he wasn't asked to do much.
And not to make mistakes. I feel like, honestly, we could still be doing this podcast in 2050 and we will somehow find a way to argue about JJ McCarthy. I swear to God.
Hey,
It'll continue to happen.
All right, I'll go third. As we just go chalk first round. You give me Texas. I think Texas they're loading up. They're getting every Alabama player. They're going to be great at quarterback. They're going to be great across the board. And I think they're on the Michigan path of getting to the playoff, getting humbled, and then coming back and being better the next year. So I like Texas. Alabama going down certainly helps them. I think their entry into the SEC will be helped by the fact that Alabama will be weakened. LSU isn't exactly the strongest we've seen them. Oklahoma's not the strongest we've seen them. Like, if you're mapping out Texas entering the SEC, this is about as perfect as it's going to get. You got to worry about Georgia, sure, but everything else, I think Texas. So Texas is my number one pick for Stock Up. I think they can win the national title in 2024. Katie.
For a lot of the reasons Ohio State, I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I think it's just all the players.
That was my next pick, Katie.
Hey, all my other ones are already taken. And also, like, they start low. Like, people could argue almost Texas might be too high, but I think Ole Miss is like the perfect. Like, there's still value in it. I'm just interested to see if all the pieces fit together. We've seen the classes. Sorry, A&M. Like, all the players work. Like, all the players look good on paper. Now, do they fit together? Because if they do, Ole Miss is a force to be reckoned with, and that's why I'm buying stock on them.
All right, you may go fifth as well.
Snake draft, Katie.
Tennessee. This is just strictly based on the Nico.
Good.
I'm the Nico guy on this podcast.
You're Nico guy? I thought you were Nico. Who's Nico?
No, Jack likes Nico a lot. Jack's a Nico guy.
I like Nico.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I do love Nico, though.
You go double SEC with Ole Miss, Tennessee.
Ole Miss was a fantastic pick, Katie. That was going to be my next one.
Well, I think y'all have skipped over a terrific team.
I haven't picked again yet.
A Big Ten powerhouse in the Big Ten, have been for years, the Oregon Ducks. And Washington was in their way this year, but they lost to Washington. That's their big thing. Washington played for a national title. I got Oregon. I think Oregon, if you're looking for a second, Big Ten national title contender, I think they're probably it. It's Ohio State. This sounds so weird. When you say these things, it's almost like I want to stop and just check and make sure. Am I lying? Did I dream that Oregon and Washington joined the Big Ten? Is that stupid?
And when you say it, you feel like you're fucking up, right? You feel like you're like saying something that somebody's going to jump on and be like, "That's not true." Like, what are you talking about? Wrong conference, dude.
Yeah. So Dylan Gabriel, they keep Dan Lanning, they keep the momentum. They're also they got Evan Stewart, didn't
Evan
they?
Stewart.
They Stewart. I think they're going to be an outstanding team, and I think, like I said about Texas, I think entering the Big Ten sounds very, very daunting. But then when you break it down, if Michigan comes back to the pack a little bit, and if certain things like it's pretty okay entering right now. So, Jack, you go next. Now we start to get a little tough. We're getting away from the chalk a little bit. Now let's get creative. Go, Jack.
I'm going to roll with Missouri. Missouri is my next pick. I think I love the momentum there. I don't love the coach, but I think he's pretty good. They bring a lot back, and I'm really excited. It seems I was looking at their schedule today, and it's really breaking well for this team to maybe find themselves in a top 12 spot and make a playoff in the first year. So I don't think, obviously, actually, they don't even have to. Mizzou schedule 2024. Like, it's really even tough, if I remember correctly, to find a loss, because at Alabama now is a little bit easier than it used to be. And then their next toughest game is probably Oklahoma at home.
Yeah.
And at Texas A&M. At Mississippi State.
That's the thing about these new SEC. All the games you thought, like, normally you would say Missouri, they're in the East. They play Georgia every year. Well, guess what? Mississippi State's played Alabama for the last 120 years. We don't play them next year.
I was about to say,
yeah,
like, I don't think they'll end up beating Georgia, but it doesn't matter unless they have to play in the SEC championship. And if you make it to the SEC championship this next year, you're probably going to be in the top 12.
Yeah. Casey, pick number 8.
I'm going to take the Clemson Tigers.
Oh.
So we know, obviously, the playoff is expanding. So 12.
Does Swinney have that drip?
Of course he does.
Okay.
And God, remember God, NIL. He's got God on his side. We know their defense was I don't want to say elite for what we're used to seeing a Clemson defense look like, but they were pretty damn good last year. Got a lot of talent, a lot of young guys on the defense coming back. And I know that, we didn't see Cade Klubnik look, like jump off the paper as good as we thought he was going to be right away. But it's the same thing we were saying in the middle of last year. Like, Clemson is still good. Clemson fans wanted to jump off the bus so quickly. The way that the ACC looks like moving forward, knowing that the playoff is expanded, I think when you see Garrett Riley, who I still believe is a very good offensive coordinator, offense runs in that family's blood, another year to work with Cade Klubnik and get all those guys on the same page, and you pair that with the defense that is coming back, I think that they could be right back to where, I don't know if they're going to win a national title, but I definitely think if you're buying stock in a team that's going to be in the playoff, Clemson's a pretty easy answer for me.
Okay. I would not have thought of Clemson, but that's the well-made points. Before Jack goes right here, I got to tell you about Rocket Money. If I asked you guys how many subscriptions you have, would you be able to list all of them and how much you're spending every month? Of course you would. No.
I would. You know why?
Because you have Rocket.
I use Rocket Money.
Yeah. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscription, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills. By the way, I stood up for myself a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I got Peacock, I got Hulu, I got all these things. I'm getting rid of Netflix. That's what I'm doing. I'm saving myself that $14 a month, and y'all can suck it, Netflix. And today they announced a $5 billion deal with WWE to.
Yep, that's very funny.
I will be crawling back, and I'll have to go to Rocket Money and say, all right, what else do we need to cancel here? Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. There goes the voice. Katie, you remember this?
Honey. Drink honey. Hot water and honey.
Stop wasting money. I thought she called me honey too, Jack. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/rough. That's rocketmoney.com/rough. Rocketmoney.com/rough.
Highly recommend. High recommend.
Wait, Casey, did you go twice?
No, I did not, but it is my turn.
Okay, sorry.
Snake draft, I go. Okay, so this one feels like I'm going to get made fun of, but I actually have good reasoning. This is not my normal reasoning. I'm taking USC. No, Katie, I can't take my own team because then I'll get called a homer. USC, new conference. I think, we've made fun of Lincoln Riley for a long time not having a defense, right? Alex Grinch is gone. They have a new defensive coordinator. I have no idea if it's going to work. But if I'm going to buy stock in a team, I do think that having I know Caleb is gone. I understand that. But this is one of those buy low situations. Like USC was very disappointing last year. It's going to be a new team, but moving into the Big Ten with a real defensive coordinator. And, I think the playoff expectations are going to be back, whether that's fair or not. I'm interested to see what it looks like going into a different conference. But an offense that looks like a Lincoln Riley offense in the Big Ten could be really damn fun to watch.
Well, you mentioned a very interesting term there, playoff expectations. So we have to change our expectations going forward because coming into a season with 4-team playoff like we've had for a decade, how many would you say teams legitimately start the season with real playoff expectations? That number's probably 12 to 15, maybe 18. Real teams that think they can get to the 4-team playoff. The 12-team playoff, what's that number, 30? 30, 35? I don't know.
It's crazy. I don't know. Like 35 seems wild, but going into the season, if you're ranked outside of the top 25, we've seen it happen a lot where you get ranked and then you win a couple games and all of a sudden you're in the top 15, sometimes in the top 10. You're squarely in a spot there. So I think that, when and all with the conference realignment and everything else, it's like we don't necessarily know who is going to be shooting up that board really quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take a little bit to get used to, obviously. But if we're buying stock in teams, the way I wanted to do it was buy a chalk pick, which obviously I didn't think I'd get to go first, but Ohio State, Clemson, I think is a pretty fair, hey, square in the middle, could easily be in the 12-team playoff. And then USC, new conference, new defensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley offensive minded. Let's go with that.
Also, they got some weird hope with that. And Jack, help me out. That quarterback that showed up in the bowl game that threw for 9,000 touchdowns, the USC guy. I got a great name. He's got a great
Oh.
name. Nobody help me. Nobody help me. It's alliteration. It's Buck Bowers. No, it's Marty McFly. No, hold on. It's Gus.
You want me to tell you?
It's Will M.
Starts with an M.
Max Mapers. Molly Menopause. It's Matt. Mike.
You're waiting till the chat says it, aren't you?
Mike. Max.
Can I give you a hint?
Max.
No.
Okay.
His last name is a plant. I think it's a plant.
I just put it in the chat, so when it comes through, he'll read it and get it.
Miller Moss. It's Miller Moss.
Is
Miller.
moss a plant?
Yeah, moss is a plant. Moss
Okay,
is for
there you
sure
go.
a plant. You're right. Yeah. Because that's how I watch these. I watch these gardening shows, and they're all the time. If moss like shows up, they'll be like, "You got mossed." Okay, that's it. Jack, you go.
God. Are you good?
I'm fine. Jack, go.
I
Jack,
think
you're muted.
For my next pick, I'm going to take a team. I think we haven't spoke a lot during this offseason yet about Notre Dame fighting Irish.
Brandon,
This is a team that has high expectations this year. Talking about expectations just a few minutes ago, this is a team that expects and fan base expects to make the playoff now almost every year, especially in the third year of Marcus Freeman. You bring in Riley Leonard, who I think will be one of the best returning quarterbacks. And, you change offensive coordinators. You bring in the guy from LSU that used to be with you. I forget his name. But I'm excited for Notre Dame this year. This is it's a big step, a big year. And there can't be any slip-ups this year. You really need to take advantage of it. And I feel good about them. I think their stock is up, and they could be a top 10 team coming in the next year.
quite a week one matchup for them too, Jack.
I'm going to pick a team that only didn't really matter this year for one reason. That's because their quarterback got hurt. Give me the Utah Utes. I think they'll be right back. They'll be right back where they're used to being very, very good. Of course, this year, I know the conferences are changing around. I think they're in the Big Sky Conference, the Southern. I don't know what conference they're in. No, Utah is going to be very, 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 very good. So I now have my three are Oregon, Utah, and Texas. I took 0 SEC teams. That's called growth, ladies and gentlemen. That's what that is.
I took 0 SEC teams too. Look at us. Who said we're SEC homers?
That's growth. And then meanwhile, Paul Feinbaum's daughter over here took multiple SEC teams. Go ahead, Katie.
This one I'm picking purely because I don't think their stock can go any lower, so it's like a safe bet. Michigan State. It's a new era. Like, I feel it's a very safe, like, sprinkle play. Like, it can't get any worse, right?
So they got the new coach, they got the new quarterback, they got the new and plus Jack forgave them.
Yep.
So that opens up everything for them.
Yeah, once Jack puts you in your rearview mirror, like you're good to go.
Fair. I'm happy with my pick.
I don't know. That's okay.
I feel like sometimes you're having a stroke. I don't know.
I said something. I might buy another house. Okay.
Nice.
Whatever. Yeah. You know what? Two houses is not enough. I'm going to go for a third house. Let's see. Where are we at? What are we talking about?
I did my third pick.
Okay.
No, sorry, I did my second pick.
No,
You know what we're talking about, Brandon?
Wait. No, that was your third. You did Tennessee, you did Ole Miss, and you did.
Yep, I did.
You
Sorry.
can't get 4 picks.
I did 3. I math is not mathing.
Gets her a boyfriend. Now she wants to do all the picks. It's unbelievable.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Texas is an SEC team.
I didn't pick Texas, did I? Shit, I did.
But
see, that's the problem with this thing. That's the damn problem with this thing. This is crazy. I picked a Big 12 team, a Pac-12 team, and a Pac-12 team. But in actuality, I picked an SEC team, a Big Ten team, and a Big 12 team. This is stupid. It's stupid. Everybody go back to your corner. No. I might do this. I might come out to college football in August and be like, all right, stop what you're doing. I'm about to ruin. Everybody go back to your corners. This is stupid. Utah and Oregon, get back over there. Washington, get back over there. Everybody go back to where you were. This is crazy.
To be fair, you didn't pick like an OG SEC team. That is growth. It's not like you picked, a Georgia or an Alabama or a Mississippi State or, Florida. So, but you did pick an SEC team with your number one pick.
Okay.
How worried are we about Florida? It seems like NCAA.
I'm worried. Hold on. Worried. Listen, those idiots deserve everything Florida deserves everything that happens to them. Florida gave up on a good coach, Dan Mullen, way too quick. He had one bad year, and they'll stomp their feet. Oh, my God, he was the worst coach ever. He gave up. He didn't recruit. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. Oh, yeah. Then go to UL Lafayette and get a guy who's half as good as Dan Mullen, who can't do shit, cannot do anything. They're going to go 4-8 next year. They're going to fire him. They're going to start over. They are Tennessee now. Congratulations, Florida. You've been wanting to be Tennessee for years. Now you've got it.
You needed to get that off your chest, huh?
Yeah, I needed a good rant. I hadn't had a good rant in a while. It's hard to rant in the off season. You know what I'm saying?
It is. You know what, Brandon?
What?
You know what might help you if you need to get some things off your chest, let out some steam?
Go.
Therapy.
Yeah.
This podcast, Unnecessary Roughness, is sponsored by BetterHelp. As we know, it is okay to not be okay. Life is busy right now. You might not want to go sit in a therapy office. You might not want to have to go and search for somebody that might not be a good fit. BetterHelp can help you. It's all online. You can literally text with your therapist. Like if you don't want to talk to them face to face, if you don't even want to call them, you can, but you have all those options: video calls, phone calls. Therapy made so simple and easy, and they pair you with somebody that will fit your needs. If you don't like that therapist, or if you don't vibe with them, or for whatever reason it's not a good fit, they will pair you with somebody else. BetterHelp is great because it's therapy on the go, is kind of the way I say it. Like if you don't have to carve out a whole time to commute, go sit down and commute again. You can do it all from your phone wherever you are. And if you're thinking about therapy, remember, it's not just about mental health, Brandon. You don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to go to therapy. You could literally just need somebody to talk to that's going to be unbiased, that's going to help you with your everyday life. Or if you do have a mental health diagnosis, obviously therapy is for you. So celebrate the progress you've already made. Go to BetterHelp.com/Smith. Today, of course, I did therapy would be my name. BetterHelp.com/Smith. You get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Smith. It's also much more affordable than traditional therapy. So if therapy is something that's not in your cost, benefit, whatever you want to say, if it's not in your budget, BetterHelp can help you. BetterHelp.com/Smith.
Just looking at the chat, a guy named Matt Cerruti said, let me guess, you're not picking Florida State because Jordan Travis got hurt. No, we're not picking Florida State because their brilliant response to Jordan Travis getting hurt and then everybody transferring from the quarterback position and having to move on is to go get DJ Uiagalelei. That is what they're doing at Florida State. That is their fix. They got disrespected, so they went and got a guy who failed at Clemson. Have fun, guys. Have fun. He might be pretty good, though. I don't know. What do I know?
And also, did he fail at Clemson?
Oh, yeah, I think he did.
I mean, he didn't win a national title, but I also think that now we look back and we're like, well,
yeah,
a little tough on him.
Do you had questions for us?
I do. So I crowdsourced on Instagram, which is a very, very dicey thing to do, which by the way,
just get on some chat ass right now.
Get on some chat ass.
Scott Coriel says, explain Michigan getting no respect. Because your own players and coaches aren't respecting Michigan. Your coach is getting the fuck out of town. Your defensive coordinator is getting the fuck out of town. J.J. McCarthy's getting the fuck out of town. Nobody's sticking around to defend this thing. Ohio State's getting better. Penn State's getting better. Everybody's getting better around them. And Michigan's going to be objectively worse across the board. You had a good run and you got your title, but it will be a couple of years before Humpty Dumpty gets put back together. Continue.
No, I mean, I don't know if that person, whoever you just said, was listening to the beginning of the show. Like, obviously, when you start talking about Michigan at any point, people are going to think that you're, doing your Michigan thing. But reality is this team is going to look wildly different next year because you're not going to have your quarterback, your running back, your defense, your head coach, your coordinators. Like, I mean, that's just a fact. Just a fact.
All right. Now, what are your questions?
Well, first, I was going to ask you this, and I don't remember what show it was, but you said we were going to read Brandon Walker's DMs. Was it speaking of Michigan, was it after Michigan won the national title?
Yeah, it was that night. It was the reaction.
How bad were they? Because we never got to it because we talked about
they
the
were
game.
they were rough.
Are they still
Oh,
bad?
they're always, my DMs are always rough. But they're you know, they're probably cleaned out right now. They're not too bad right now.
Except I did see your tweet about how Dave just texts you Michigan every single day.
I'm worried about him. He hasn't texted me today.
Well, he was in a fight with Nate today at the office. That's why.
He gets in a fight with Nate every day. I hasn't stopped him. I'm almost to the point where I'm gonna text him. I was like, you good, boss?
You alive, dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked some questions, and obviously I was hoping that the questions that I asked from people on Instagram will have the chat ask questions. I liked this one a lot. This one is from Keith. He said, if you were an elite recruit, what would your pie chart of priorities on picking a school look like? What would you put first and what would you put last? Jack?
All right.
Oh, I don't know where he went. I was going to let Jack go, but
Foot cramp. Go, Jack.
I would put getting to the NFL first as 50% of it. Location 25%. Money 25%, I guess. I guess there's a lot there, but
All right.
a lot of the getting to the NFL depends on coaches, facilities, standing of the program. So that's all kind of part of the same pie.
All right. Number one, the money.
How hot the girls are.
Number one, and this is 96%, the money you pay me. If you pay me the most money, I'm likely to go to your school. The thing I believe, Jack, and I think we say this a lot, they're going to Alabama because they turn out NFL. They're going to Georgia because they turn out NFL. Well, yeah, Georgia does turn out NFL players. They also pay a shit ton of money to go there. And I think a five-star athlete, if I'm a five-star athlete this year, I think I'm getting to the NFL wherever the fuck I go. If I go to Georgia, if I go to Michigan, if I go to Ohio State, if I go to Akron, I think I'm going to the NFL because that's how confident I am. I want the fucking money. Money, girls, and money. That's my three.
Katie?
I would agree. I maybe put coaches somewhere up there. I think obviously coaches has a correlation with NFL, but look what's happened to Alabama. People clearly wanted to play for Nick Saban and not just Alabama. So I would put coaches. I'm not in my top three. I don't necessarily know the order.
Money would be my number one as well. But I think playing time has to be in that equation pretty high up there for me because that does translate to the NFL, Jack. It's like you said, like getting to the NFL is key. Like, yeah, you can make a shitload of money in college. Uh-oh, what's happening with you?
I need to talk to somebody. All right, can I give him some chat ass?
Get in that chat ass, baby.
Jason Noun says, the South is fat, ugly women.
Wait, what?
Said the South has ugly women. Buddy, I assume you live in New England or the North or somewhere. The South has a lot of things that are the best in the country. The food, the music, a lot of things. Weather's good. You would shit yourself if you saw Southern women. You would absolutely fucking die. You virgin fuck if you saw Southern women. Far and away, the best looking women in this country are in the South. Continue.
That is a very, very dumb comment. I mean, Southern women with like a good Southern accent and the sundresses and the heels.
Titties, yeah.
I didn't say that. Brandon, Ole Miss has beautiful, beautiful women. We can agree on that, right? Uh-oh.
Continue.
Well, they do. I know you hate Ole Miss, but like we can.
Every SEC team has beautiful women. They're not special in that regard.
Oh, for sure. But like, I'm not talking about.
You ever been to Georgia? Woo-hoo!
I'm not even talking about Texas. Like, I'm talking about like the actual South. Like, you get that true Southern accent. Okay. So what I was saying was I would put playing time high up there. Okay. Next question. This is, I feel like, a pretty easy answer for some of us, maybe not. So I'll start with Katie. North Carolina is off the table. Who is a second team that you feel like you cheer for most? Because I did like an Ask Us Everything. So like North Carolina off, who do you feel like deep down you root for the most outside of your own team?
It's probably like a who's playing a team. Like in the Saban era, it would be like who's playing Alabama, who's playing Kirby and Georgia. I'll stick with who's playing Nick Saban. I'll keep that. Obviously, it doesn't apply anymore because it's just you want the parity. I have seeing Tennessee beat Alabama was awesome. I don't have any affiliation with Tennessee, but just seeing the little guy beat the big guy. So up until this year or now, it was whoever's playing Nick Saban and beating him.
Tennessee fans will oddly get mad at that because you called him the little guy, by the way.
I said something nice about Nico earlier.
Oh, they're very stupid. They're very, very stupid in Tennessee. Jack, what was your answer to that question? Also, Jack, do you remember the question? Because I don't.
I do. My pick is Georgia. I think I find myself rooting for Georgia a lot. I don't know.
I've said my answer many times.
Missouri.
I love Mississippi State. I fucking hate everybody else. That end of sentence, end of discussion. Now, what Katie said was right. I don't know that I root for another team other than Mississippi State, but I will root for teams who play against teams. Like I was rooting for Washington to beat Michigan. Goddamn, I was rooting for Washington to beat Michigan, but they didn't. So I root more against other teams than I root for other teams.
Which is where kind of like the Buckeye Brandon thing came from. It's not like you were rooting for Ohio State. You were just rooting for Ohio State against Michigan.
Correct. Yeah. They were the best defense. My
answer is Colorado. Feel free to roast me.
Well, you've hit all you're playing the greatest hits right now. You've hit USC, you've hit Colorado. You're just doing the whole thing.
Well, I'm just answering the questions that are being asked. You know, what do you want me to do?
You asked the question.
I didn't ask this questions. I'm getting them from the people.
Oh, okay. Before you get to the last one, hey, why are you hollering?
Why are you hollering?
Because I haven't shaved in a while. But
also, wait, hold on. Can we go back to the hot women thing? And I know people haven't seen your wife. Like, your wife is a prime example of what happens in the South. No offense. Like, your wife is super
average looking men get hot wives in the South.
I mean, your wife, and I know it's like a joke on the yak and stuff. Like, it's a real life thing. Like, Brandon Walker's wife is a certified smoke show, and he somehow.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to meat ride or anything or pause. Like, I'm not surprised he has a hot wife. Like, he's 6'4", he's tall, he's a man. Like he's confident. Like whenever people are like, I'm just not surprised. I'm like, yeah, he's funny and like she's hot. Like, but like I'm not surprised, you know? Like it's more like that couple makes sense.
Whenever we went to Starkville in 2020, and I know I've told this story a bunch on this podcast, but it fits into what the chat was just saying. I will never forget Rudy, who is he is not a Southern guy whatsoever, walking around Starkville, and all he could say was, how the fuck did that guy get that girl? He was like, this is the land of hot women with average overweight dudes. And he was like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I was like, there's just so many beautiful women. And the guys are great, but I needed to give you some flowers there, Brandon. Your wife is the epitome of a hot Southern woman. So there you go.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. That was nice. Nice to get some love there. Harry's is something that I just can't keep stay on my phone. So I got some Harry's razors. I've been growing the beard out, but then I'll cut it back a little bit. But I've been shaping a lot with my Harry's razors. Sometimes to get what you want, you have to challenge the status quo and blaze your own trail. You know who also challenged the status quo? Harry's. They saw customers getting ripped off by questionable products in the shaving industry and decided to do something about it. Instead of charging the same old ridiculous prices, Harry's found their own way to make beautifully designed razors for a fraction of the price of other big brands. Exceptional products, honest prices. That's Harry's. Tells me to share about my experience with Harry's. I already did that ad copy. I talked about shaping. That's what I did. Harry's German engineered blades are made in their own factory and stay sharp longer. Don't settle for the status quo. Blaze your own trail with Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/roughness. That's harrys.com/roughness for a $3 trial set.
Can I please give maybe this is a weird compliment, but I think Harry's is going to like it. Their shaving cream is great for shaving your legs. Like, I know it's probably meant for the face, but it is fantastic. My boyfriend uses it, and I use it for my legs. Just saying, ladies out there. It's
Oh,
good
I
shaving
see.
cream.
Okay, I thought you meant he used it for his legs.
No, for me.
Okay.
Like I took his shaving. Oh, I see. No, he uses it for his face, and it's in the shower. So then I use it for my legs, not the razor because that would be gross. The shaving cream, but you can use Harry's razors on your legs too if you'd like.
You're
Okay.
just not supposed to share. Like you're supposed to
Right,
have
that's
your
what I
own
mean.
little
You're not
period.
supposed to share razors.
And that's exactly what she just said she did.
No, I said shaving cream.
No, you stole. Okay, yeah. Okay.
I steal the shaving cream, not the razor. I have my own razors.
Okay. All right, continue with your
And
questions.
this question
God
is
damn it. God damn it.
what?
House.
You lost the house?
He just bought another house.
No. Dave.
Oh,
How did he? Did somebody like
Somebody
send him a
probably-
message watching the
He's up and down. Like it was 9:23 a.m., 7:19 p.m., 10:37 a.m., 9:20 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 10:50 a.m. Today 6:51 p.m. Yeah, Dave.
it's never going to stop either. You know it's not.
It'll stop. He'll get tired. He's old. He'll get tired.
I guarantee. Okay. Here, put the over under at 6 months.
February 15th, he'll have stopped.
Oh, I take the over on that. No chance.
He'll stop. He's old. He'll forget.
It would not surprise me if he did it until next year's national championship. And if he doesn't, if he forgets now, the college football show starts back up, buddy, you're getting it again.
It might go until Ohio State wins the national championship.
I think February 15th. We'll see. All right, continue.
Okay, Brandon, this question was for you. If you're drafting a team, which FSU team would you rather have, 1999 or 2013?
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'm telling you,
Right in the wheelhouse. Okay.
So the people on Instagram were either asking like for Katie to dump her milkers or ask Brandon like trivia questions. So that's what we've got going on.
Right. Listen. Oh, man. Both those teams are fucking loaded. I'll say 2013 Florida State doesn't get enough credit when it comes to how loaded they were and how good they were. They were fucking amazing. 99, it's hard to remember. Peter Warwick, I guess. Chris Winkie. I gotta go with the 2013. I think Jameis obviously is one of the best college quarterbacks we've seen in the last 2 decades. Kelvin Benjamin, and then on and on and on. That defense was loaded with talent. I would go 2013. But boy, really good question.
I know. I really liked that question. I'm going to just keep going until you guys tell me to stop reading questions. Who would you think should okay, obviously we know Sharon Moore is probably going to be the answer, but outside of the Michigan program, who do you think the best fit to replace Jim Harbaugh would be? Jack, I'll start with you.
Outside of the program?
Yeah, the question was just if they don't go in-house, who do you think the best fit would be?
I'm probably missing a few, but I got my answer. It's Connor Stallions. He's the best.
That's so far outside the program.
Couldn't be further.
He was weird.
I'll take that question, spin it, and do this. What do you make, Jack, of the fact that there's been rumors that if Jim Harbaugh is out, Brian Kelly from LSU would want that job?
Yeah, I mean that's the guy that popped into my mind first. I don't know. That would be very interesting because then it would you would open up so many things because LSU then becomes open, which is low key actually not even low key. It is a better job than Michigan. And then you have a roster full of very talented players on LSU. Where do they all go? Alabama fans are already planning on getting every LSU player. I don't know why, but they are just like, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll get every LSU player that once Brian Kelly takes the Michigan job.
All right, continue, Casey.
How thankful are you, Katie and Jack, knowing that every day you get to work with the Brandon Walker?
Good questions tonight, man. Just really good questions. No, she muted herself. You did it on purpose. What are you doing? Hey, bitch.
Was they muted?
Yeah, you should do the whole
So good.
one. Okay. All right. What else?
So this one is, and this one I feel like is kind of a longer question, but if you had to pick a dark horse from each conference, now obviously we're not looking at 5 anymore, so we're looking at 4, a dark horse that's not being talked about from each conference to be a title contender, who would it be? That's a bigger question, I guess. Probably a little too lengthy.
Yeah,
But
I'd have to really.
yeah, maybe we save that one. Okay. Would Brandon Walker let Dave pay Tommy's tuition if he went to Michigan?
Yeah. Sure, I sure would.
What?
I would.
Why'd you even have to think about that?
Well, I was thinking, do I want him to go to Michigan? Dave's an asshole, but really good school. Yeah, I would definitely let him do that. I surely would. Yeah.
I mean, what was the? Oh, he said he would pay for his tuition if he went to Bama.
Alabama. Yeah.
I mean, other than Ole Miss, is there a school that you wouldn't let?
Oh, he's not going to Alabama. I don't know. I mean, I want my kids to go to Mississippi State. That's not a secret. But Ole Miss is the only one where I'd be like, I'm not paying for that.
That's fair. That was the way that my dad said that about Texas too.
And even then, if my daughter was like, but Daddy, I really want to go
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I'd probably secretly pay for it, just not tell anybody.
Yeah, your daughter, but not your sons. Your sons, you're like, no, like I'm.
No, I'd put them in the army before I did
that. Okay. Somebody said, how many years do you think it's going to take to get a cap on NIL for programs, if it even happens?
It's soon. I think regulation is coming, whether that's a cap or whether it's, TV revenue. It really is a weird system where you're asking the fans to subsidize college football teams. You're asking fans to buy these players when the schools are making money hand over fist. So we're going to have caps. We're going to have regulations. It's probably within the next 3 years, 5 years.
And then I know we said we were going to go about an hour. I think we have one more ad, don't we? Or is that it?
We hit them all.
We hit them all. Good. Okay. So this one is to debate amongst ourselves.
Okay.
Who of the 4 of us has the most pressure for our teams next season? Like our individual teams, actual pressure.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be one of those years where I don't know that any of us really have pressure because you and I both have new coaches.
That's what I was like, normally would be like, I'd be a slam dunk answer because it's like, well, high expectations, paying everybody, but like we have a new coach.
Well, it might be Jack because he's in there in year 3 with the coach and year 2 was not as good as year 1. So it might be time to, if year 3 goes backwards again, he might be in the coach seeking line. Yeah.
Not even coach seeking. Program seeking. Well, we're fighting for a program every year. We're fighting for respect. Like this is a different level of fandom down or up here. Like y'all don't get it down there. Like y'all gonna be around no matter what. We have to fight. Like I have to wake up every day and defend the right for this program to exist. If we have another bad season, oh man, who knows?
I like that Jack just like reverts into like just a very old Southern accent, like an old person.
Jack, can I have 30 seconds to steal you away from college football and talk about something else?
Oh,
yeah.
It's women's college basketball. And
Caitlin Clark.
Has Caitlin Clark been arrested yet for her assault on the innocent Ohio State fan where she forearmed her and then fell to the ground in the biggest flop in the history of the world? Has she been arrested? Should she be arrested? And what should the sentence be?
I think at least a few games suspended.
I mean,
it has to be considered.
There's nothing that rots people's brains like college football or college sports fandom, because every tweet, every thread about this, you'll get 1,000 Iowa fans showing up. So you're just trying to hate on her. She was just, yeah. You should watch the original angle where it's 40 yards away and in real speed. Yeah, because that's what we do in sports. We don't look at the alternate angles or the slow motion. What we do is we take it from as far away as possible, and as that's what we do, idiots. All right. And she's not actually going to prison. It's not actually a big deal, but it was funny how everybody just absolutely freaked out about that fan, and the fan was not at fault at all. All right.
I also, when I first originally saw it, and maybe it was just like I was misreading it, but I thought it was like some like dude ran into her like really, really hard. It was another, I mean, not that it matters, but wasn't it like another like girl, like a smaller girl?
It was a young lady who was viciously assaulted, thrown to the ground. And by the way, she got pushed and she immediately got up and just went about her business. Meanwhile, the other one had to get helped off. All right, let's get out of here. That's an hour. Thank you. We'll do this every single week. Hopefully, we'll see. And then otherwise, Katie, Jack, Casey, whatever your names are, that's unnecessary.
Like the video, subscribe, comment.
All right, everybody, smile, look cute.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.